Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Today we will continue inshallah with the knowledge of Tajweed. In the language, when we say Tajweed, we mean making something jayyid, making it good, better. But when we say the knowledge of Tajweed, what do we mean precisely in this study? Giving each letter its full rights and obligation of permanent attributes and temporary attributes. So, taking Tajweed is absolutely compulsory. The one who doesn't correct the Quran is a sinner, because it was descended by Allah like this, and that's how it reached us. Okay? So what does Imam Ibn AlJazari rahimahullah mean?
It's compulsory to learn the Tajweed. Who don't correct the recitation of Quran is a sinner.
Yes, why is that? So we have explained two types of mistakes. Okay? So can you give us the idea of these two types of mistakes?
The explicit and implicit mistake.
Explicit mistakes and implicit mistakes.
Yeah.
The explicit mistakes are?
There are three types: changing the letters, changing the haraka, and changing the shadda.
So changing the letter, or changing the haraka, or changing the shadda, or adding or removing any of those. Okay, so it could change the meaning?
Change the meanings, or change the grammar, or give no meaning at all.
Exactly. Can you give us an example for changing a letter? Like al-ladhina and al-lazina.
Or lazina.
So if you say al-lazina, you have changed dal with zay. Okay. An example for changing the haraka. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. You say أنعمت. Changes the grammar. And the shadda. إياك. You say instead? Iyaka, yes, without shadda. Okay, so all these are explicit mistakes that are unaccepted. And we said it's compulsory for each one before reciting the Quran that he acknowledges the explicit mistakes. Okay, because it is standard for reciting the Quran. Okay, how about the implicit mistakes?
It's the sunnah of recitation.
Yes. So if you make a mistake in Tajweed, we call it an implicit mistake. What does it make the recitation? Make it less beautiful. Okay. And it is disliked. What do we mean by that it was descendant like that?
A long time ago, it's not the same way we speak in Arab, and it's the same way. It's not the same as the reciting the Quran.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's different when reciting the Quran, because it's the only way to is from the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's from the Qaris and
Qaris. Yes. Alright. Jazakallah khair. Alright, we continue. The lines 29 and 30. And it is the Tajweed. It is also the beauty of recitation and an adornment of performance and reading. And it is giving the letters their rights of their attributes and what is due on the letters.
A reciter can give each letter its rights and attributes to make the recitation as recited by the Sahaba.
Exactly. So by giving the letters their full attributes, you became able to control the letters by knowing the exact and make your recitation more beautiful. Okay. And when we say giving the letters their full rights and their obligations, what do we mean?
The exits and the attributes of each letter.
Exactly. So their rights is giving it their permanent attributes, and their obligation the temporary attributes, that the different states that we say ahkam. Okay. Giving qaf, isti'la, make it bold. Okay, so making it bold, qa is an obligation. This is another understanding of the obligations of letters. The first one is that it is the temporary attributes, the ahkam of ikhfa, iqlab, and so on. There are three types of recitation.
It's tartil,
reciting slowly, yes, and
tadwil, the normal
way, yes, hadr, yes, which is
it's a bit fast for learning or memorization.
Exactly. We said in all these three you must be able to understand and reflect. So you should avoid making it very slow, that you only hear letters, you don't understand words, you don't hear words, you hear letters. Likewise, not making it very fast to an extent that you cannot reflect anymore. Okay? So here you find the definition of Tajweed. إعطاء الحروف حقها من كل صفة ومستحقها, until the end of the 32nd line. 31st line. وَرَدُّ كُلِّ وَاحِدٍ لِأَصْلِهِ.
Returning each letter or each one of them to their originality.
Yeah, meaning?
However they should be pronounced.
Exactly. Originality is their exits. Okay. Yes.
وَاللَّفْظُ فِي نَظِيرِهِ كَمِثْلِ. If, for example, however you say noon in any place, you should have the same pronunciation for every instance of that letter.
Exactly. You make noon. Yeah. You give noon the ghunnah of a specific length, then this length should always remain the same length. So you give one letter boldness, it should always remain bold. The instances of the same rule should all be equivalent and the same sound. Correct?
مكملا من غير ما تكلف.
What does it mean مكملا? Completed?
مكملا complete من غير ما تكلف. I don't know what تكلف means.
Without extremes. Yeah, without being extreme. So for completed, we say for example giving a complete kasra, okay, not cheating. For example, ayatim bayinat.
Ayatim.
Yes, tim bayinat.
Passive, difficult.
Exactly. It should be easy to say, okay, nicely in pronunciation. When you say completed, so you should avoid cheating. And cheating can be of different ways. We've given one way, which is not giving a complete kasra or not giving a complete mad. Okay, all this is cheating. Also another way, if you recite it correctly, exactly the way it should be pronounced, but people around you cannot hear it correct, then this is also unaccepted, except for few rules. وَلَيْسَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ تَرْكِهِ إِلَّا رِيَاضَةٌ مِّن بِفَكِّهِ. There isn't between it and between leaving it except the exercise of someone with his mouth. What do we mean by that?
It is between having the knowledge of Tajweed and not having it, except the exercise of his mouth.
Yes, the exercise of someone with his mouth. What do we mean by the exercise here?
Practice.
Practice.
Yes.
Exactly. So practice is one pillar of Tajweed, and we have discussed 4 pillars. Yes, giving the rights and obligations of letters, okay, by 2 things, 2 pillars here, knowing the exits, and the second one, knowing the attributes. Yes, the permanent and the temporary attributes. The third one is practice here, and the fourth one is
reciting as done by the qaris.
Exactly, taking Tajweed from the qaris, from the same chain until the Rasulullah. Okay, which we call, nowadays we call it ijaza. It's like a certificate for Tajweed, basically. These are the 4 pillars of Tajweed. We have also discussed here that Tajweed is only the first step to the Quran. And what do we mean by that? What happens if you become an expert in reciting the Quran and have the knowledge of Tajweed and have the knowledge of Qira'ah? Have you passed through the step? You are still in the same step. Why?
Have it at the heart, as reflection, practice it, learn it, and then put it into your actions.
Exactly. So the second step, the third step, the fourth step, along the stairway, yes, you are required to know the meaning of the Quran. We said the hadith. There are some people who recite the Quran very greatly, very nicely, but it doesn't go beyond their throat to their minds because they cannot understand. Okay? The people who want to understand the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them if He wishes, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? But someone who is satisfied with this first step of taking the Tajweed, being able to recite the Quran beautifully, and doesn't want to understand the meanings of the Quran, he doesn't want to practice the Quran, the obligations in the Quran, he is stuck in this first step. However, what we should understand that learning Tajweed is a way to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making your sound beautiful in the Quran. And as in the hadith, to the nearest meaning that Rasulullah has said, as reported, Al-Mahiru bil-Quran ma'a as-safarati al-kiram al-barara, with the angels, the one who is fluent in reciting the Quran. Okay, another one, that your level in Jannah is in the last verse that you recite. All this encourages us to take the knowledge of Tajweed, to be able to take the Quran, to recite the Quran, beautify our sounds in the Quran, as long as we are able to make our intentions pure to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? By trying to explain each line and remembering the subjects that each line has, what are the rules discussed in this line, this way you can benefit from this poem. Okay, after memorizing it, you read the line and then you remember the subjects and the rules of this line, and like that you save the knowledge of Tajweed that you have learned. Right, هذا والله أعلم. Next time, inshallah, we'll discuss تفخيم and ترقيق and other cases of قلقلة. جزاكم الله خير.